let me be crystal clear. The job market's saturated. You don't have any connections. You don't have any experience. You can't get a job. My name is Santiago, I'm 20 years old, and the reason I'm making this video is because over the past few months, I've had a lot of people, whether it's in social circles, whether it's at uni, on campus, they come up to me and they say, hey, Santiago, how did you land this high-paying corporate job? How are you landing multiple offers within the past 6 months? How are you doing this just at the age of 20 years old? The first statement I made at the beginning of this video was very negative, but you see, at first glance, it actually makes quite a lot of sense. The truth is, when I was beginning to start my career and build it from the bottom up, they were right. I didn't have any experience, I didn't have any connections. In this video, I'm going to be covering exactly how I went from landing in a new country, starting my studies, not having any experience, any work experience, let alone any relevant experience, no connections. Being an international student, so I'm dealing with visa hurdles here and there, how I went from that to getting a high-paying corporate job or even graduate. Now, if that sounds interesting, if that sounds like something you want to do as well, just stick around. We're going to cover everything strategically. Now, before I even get into it, I just want to make sure that everybody watching this up to this point understands that this video is for those who are actually willing to put the work in, because one thing is me giving you the strategy and telling you how you can do it. Second thing is actually doing it. This strategy, this sub 1 year strategy, I'll give it an estimate of sub 1 year, probably 1 year long. This is going to take you to go from zero to landing a high-paying corporate job. There's two parts. There's two parts, and I've broken it down very simply for you to digest very nicely in this video. First, it's building yourself as the applicant who will be accepted, who will be demanded in the industry that you're looking for. And the second part will be actually deploying a strategic application process that will ensure that within due time, after hard work, offers start coming in and you have a pick of the litter regarding what jobs you're getting and what opportunities you can open the doors for. Hey guys, as I was editing the video, I realized I hadn't included this in the video. In the description, I've included my official Instagram page. If you want a free PDF with the full strategy, detailed step-by-step how you can do this whole process, I'll send it over to you for free. If you want the full Excel file with the whole application strategy that you will need, do yourself the favor, follow that Instagram username, send help in all caps, and I'll make sure that once I receive this message, I will make sure that it all gets sent to you. Now, when it comes to building your profile, you mustn't have an ego. You must understand that you're starting from the very bottom, and the most important thing is getting your foot in the door. Before we begin this process, I want you to have determined an industry in which you're looking for. So a lot of people I know now, it's very popular to want to go into finance, and that's good. Go into marketing, that's good too. Go into the art. You could want to be a swim teacher, I don't know. Whatever it is, you must find the industry and determine exactly where you want to end up. Next thing I want you to understand is that a lot of the entry-level roles for a lot of these very competitive industries nowadays, they require years of experience. And you would know this because you've been looking through the job markets, and that's why you're watching this video. You must be creative. And this is what I did, and it worked. You must be creative and find other ways to get your foot in the door. The big conundrum that everybody's talking about is, if nobody's willing to hire somebody with no experience, then how are you supposed to gain experience if you have no experience? This is what I discovered, right? So every industry needs sales. And I actually almost accidentally stumbled across this, but every industry needs sales, and they usually have a very high turnover rate in a lot of the industries. Seeing as most of every industry has a sales department, that's how you get in. See, if you live in any sort of mid-sized to big city in the world and you're watching this video now, I guarantee you, if you go to job listings, a big portion of them will be sales jobs, and it'll be sales positions for all sorts of industries, right? It may not even be relevant to what you're looking for, and in fact, when you're starting off, probably isn't going to be anything relevant to what you're looking for. The important thing is that the sales experience will be offered. A lot of these sales jobs, a lot of them are very, very rudimentary, and a lot of them are very entry level. In fact, you might even find yourself in a multi-level marketing type company. Doesn't matter. You're there for the experience. You're there to have something on your CV that's better than working at McDonald's. Now, what I want you to do is you got to go out and you must apply to all these possible sales roles that you can. Doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter what you're doing. You apply to all the ones that you can, and I guarantee you're going to land a few interviews, and you're going to get one of them, right? You're gonna end up getting one of them, whether it's door to door, whether you're selling on the phone, whatever it is, whether it's unpaid. You need that experience. A very important thing about this, you will learn how to persuasively speak. You will learn to be able to confidently speak to, random people. Truthfully, yeah, random people, any sort of person, any sort of profile of person that you come up with, you'll learn how to talk to. This is going to come very handy in the future in actually high-level interviews. You have to stand out from the crowd. Once you've got about 3 months of experience in the current sales role, from that point on is when you start looking at the industry that you want. Say you want finance, or say you want marketing, say you want the automotive industry, say you want medicine. Whatever it is, you start looking for job openings, you start looking for account management, you start looking for business development, you start looking for, obviously, sales roles, you start looking for all these sorts of sales type roles that you can find in these given fields that you are wanting to break into. This will be your foot in the door. And you see now, suddenly, you have built yourself as a candidate. Now, suddenly, you have the profile of somebody with prior sales experience, and going into the sales role in the industry that you want suddenly a little bit easier because you are now somebody with experience and you have a little bit of story to tell as well. Now, once you're in the sales role in the industry that you want, you're going to be there for, say, 4 months. What you want to be doing is, apart from your daily role, your daily tasks, you want to be killing that. You want to do very good with that. You want to be trying to go into projects that maybe stray a little bit from the sales role that you've signed up for. You want to have a little bit of, say, contribution to projects that more closely align with the career aspirations that you're currently looking for. So if you want to be a investment banker, you're doing a customer service role in finance, you have to try your hardest to get relevant experience to what you finally want to end up doing with your current role, which is going to be a little bit difficult. What it would take is you asking around, and you got to talk to people internally. You got to say, hey, can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? This is my goal. I want to get some experience. I want to do this. And what I strongly believe in is those who knock, after knocking enough, certain doors will open, right? So now up to this point, you've built your profile a lot, significantly, and it's been about 7 months. So you've built it quite a bit. You're probably at the 7-8 month mark, and you've built your profile. You went from being somebody who had nothing on their CV, no experience. So now suddenly you've worked in sales, and now you've worked in sales in the industry that you want to work in. And now if you really looked out for it and tried, you have some relevant experience in the field that you're looking for because you were talking to people internally, or at least just be in certain meetings where you were able to hear a little bit about some projects that would be relevant with your ideal career. And so now this is where you employ part 2 of this strategy. This is the application process. Now, maybe I should have told you earlier, you're going to use this application process to apply for all these jobs that you've got in this whole strategy, right? So for that, everything from that first sales role that you had, to the second one in the industry that you want, to this final application step that you're going to take to land the entry-level role aligned with the career that you want, you're going to follow this application strategy. It's fierce. It's a lot of hard work. But again, now you've built the experience, you have the references of all your old managers, so you are somebody who can get backed up by certain people with more credibility than yourself. You have worked in the industry before that you're applying to, participated in projects relevant to the role that you're ideally hoping to land, and you can now, this is the best part, now you can sell yourself better than the other candidates, because I guarantee you a lot of them didn't do sales, but you did. Now for the application strategy, you see, it's funny, right? Because in the beginning of this video I said a lot of people come up to me, and it's usually other young people. After a short conversation, they always tend to ask me, how did you land that job? Or how are you getting these offers? How are you doing this? Now what I've resorted to doing is I told them, hey, I'm just going to make a video and send you the link. That's what I'm doing now. I usually like to ask, so how many applications did you send? I ask them. And they will usually always tell me they've sent, say, anywhere from 5 to 15 applications. And that's when I tell them, you see, they weren't doing the wrong thing. They were actually doing the right thing, but they just weren't doing enough of it. 5 to 15 applications. This is maybe a number I was running through daily. Every day, every 2 days I was running through that. Final stage of application, when I was really applying very hard, I must have gone from April to September. Every day, clocking in about 2 hours of applications, right? Boom, boom, and I would make, if I missed a day, I'd make up for it the next day. So it was a lot of very hard work. You're doing tailored CVs, you're doing tailored resumes, tailored cover letters. If you can get any of the names of the people you're applying to, you make sure the cover letter is tailored for that. You try to send them an email, you try to send them a message on LinkedIn. You're really trying. That's the point. You really have to try. You see, you must assume you're unlucky. Because if you assume you're unlucky, you're gonna work like you're unlucky. And you know what? Even the most unlucky guy in the world, if he shoots 1,000 shots, one of them's gonna make it. Quote from one of my mentors actually really shaped the way I view the world. He told me, if you're doing something and it's not working, but you get a hunch that it's the right thing, and it probably is the right thing, you simply aren't doing enough of it. Counteract unluckiness with volume, because enough volume 100% of the time will beat bad luck. Now, a very crucial step, especially now, a very crucial step to this application process is your LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn, throughout this whole process, I want you to have built it. I want you to have added all these experiences that you had. In your descriptions for each experience, you must properly describe what you've done. You need to sell yourself. This is the page where you sell yourself. You need to have a whole story about yourself. How did you get to the point where you're at now? Write the story like you're a character, yeah? This is very important for when you land the interviews. Recruiters will 100% of the time look at your LinkedIn, and if it's not at least on par with what they think is acceptable for their industry, they will not take it. Now, as I've told you before, this is the very important part, and it's the volume, the sheer volume of applications that you're going to send. I want you to have an Excel spreadsheet with all the companies that you're looking to apply to. You need to find out when their windows of applications open. What I'm doing now, where I live, there's what they call graduate programs, and so a graduate program will be for right after when you graduate, a placement in the company. So an entry-level role in their company. You need to find out those windows of applications. You need to write them down. You got to have a strategy built on. Nothing happens by accident. So you got to have this strategy. When you have this strategy, when you have these companies listed down, when you're checking, when you're applying 2 hours a day, every day for 4 months, by the 4th month, I guarantee you're going to start hearing back. And I guarantee you're going to start hearing back a lot of, unfortunately, we cannot take you. You're going to start hearing a lot of rejection. But among those rejection emails, you will receive 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. Who knows? It depends how good you sell yourself. It depends the state of the industry. It depends where you live. But you're going to hear some responses. And if you haven't yet, remember what I said, volume counteracts any probability, especially if it's a bad probability, bad luck. Volume will counteract it. If by the 4th month you're not hearing, do it for 6, do it for 7, do it for 8, because you will hear. Eventually it will be your turn. Now when you get these emails, when you get these phone calls from the HR department, hey, come in for an interview, they're going to say. Come in for an interview, and a lot of the times, actually, this is really funny, they're going to call you from, to you, what's going to be a random number. By the way, completely normal. Just be respectful. If you don't know what because you've done so many applications, you might just not know what company's calling you, right? Pick up the phone, and it's completely normal, acceptable, and understandable to say, hey, could I please confirm what company I'm speaking to? Nothing less, nothing more. Very important tip that I actually learned from a friend because I was dealing with this situation, so was he. Now, for this interview, you can't be overdressed. You can never be overdressed. You gotta go with a tie. I don't care if it's in a warehouse. You gotta go with a tie, do your hair real nice, polish your shoes, just the classic. White dress shirt, nice tie, nice suit. That's what you want to be wearing if you want to stand out. You want to stand out not just in your looks, but also in your body language. You want to go in mature, and you want to go in with your back straight. You want to go in with your voice confident. I hope that by this point you've gotten very confident because you've done so many months in sales. And so your ability to speak and to sell yourself would be very competitive by this point. Now, in that interview room right now, you have this whole history of how you went from being zero experience to getting yourself in that room, that given moment. You're sitting with the hiring manager, you're probably sitting with your potentially future manager, maybe with, sometimes some companies do this, with a psychologist. You're sitting with a lot of people. This is your time to shine. This is your time to sell yourself. This is what you worked for. And you have to, what I recommend is just be very honest, be very confident, very humble, but confident. And tell them your aspirations. Tell them all you've done. Get yourself in that room at that given moment. How you worked it up from zero, the strategy that you employed. And I don't see a universe where they're not impressed. You've gone from a guy with no experience, young guy or girl, no experience, no connections. You didn't need a handout, you didn't need to ask anybody for a role. You built it up from the beginning, you were creative about it. It's a very creative strategy. It's bulletproof and it works. It just requires a lot of work. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I built this framework off of how I did this. I stumbled across it almost as an accident, this whole framework, this whole strategy. The way I viewed it was I wanted to learn sales because I thought it was a powerful skill to have. Little did I know that it would open up doors for many entry-level roles. And I don't think enough people know this. I think more people should know this. I've landed multiple offers with Fortune 500 companies. I went from door-to-door sales to working 4 months unpaid at a boutique supply chain firm, which is my field of choice, supply chain, to landing multiple Fortune 500 offers all in less than 1 year. And so this is my testament, it's my framework. I think it worked very well. I think this is something I want to share with people because it truly is a creative framework, and I think it can help a lot of people, but it will only help those who actually put in the work and who actually try. Now, actually having landed these roles and having actually a choice of roles that I can pick at just such a young age of 20 years old, I began to realize that the hard work is actually really just going to start when I actually start working. That's when the real work is going to start. This is again my testament, and I think by no means at all am I a genius. I think a lot of people are smarter than me. I think a lot of people are probably faster than me. But again, I think if I was able to do this, then anybody watching this video has the same ability to do this. Just it all depends if they're actually willing to put the work in. I hope this video helped. If it did, please hit the like button. If you have any friends that are looking for jobs that you think would benefit from watching this sort of framework, please let them know. If they're young, if they're old, doesn't matter. Your cousin, your sister, your brother's looking for a job, let them know. Send them this video. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Make sure to follow that Instagram page that's on the description. If you need the PDF, once again, if you need the Excel file for the application process, make sure to DM it HELP in all caps, and I'll make sure that it all gets sent to you.